You open your eyes. The ground beneath you is hard, cold, covered in dry grass that presses into your back through whatever you used as a mat. Above you there is no ceiling, there is no roof. There is just sky, pale gray and vast, fading from deep black at the edges into the first thin blue of dawn. And somewhere not far enough away something is moving. You have no idea where you are. But here is what you do know. You are breathing, your heart is beating. And your body, this body that spent last night scrolling a screen and sleeping on a foam mattress, has just been dropped 100,000 years into the past. Into the African savanna at the edge of the Middle Stone Age. Into the world your ancestors actually lived in every single day for generation after generation. So what happens next? The first thing you notice is the cold. Even in sub-Saharan Africa, nights on the open savanna drop fast. Your ancestors slept close to fire, close to each other. Body warmth was survival, not affection. A 2018 study published in Current Biology by scientists analyzing sleep patterns of modern hunter-gatherer groups, the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, and the Tsimane of Bolivia, found that these groups naturally woke before sunrise, almost always rising as temperatures began to lift. Your body is not waking up because of a schedule. Your body is waking up because it is cold and because some part of your ancient nervous system is already scanning the dark. You sit up, your eyes are adjusting, and you hear it more clearly now, the sound that woke you. A low rustle, a branch shifting, maybe an animal, maybe nothing. Your hands tighten, your breath goes shallow. This is cortisol, the stress hormone. Your body just flooded your bloodstream with it, and that is not a malfunction. That is the system working exactly as it was designed to. Because in this world, a sound in the dark is never nothing. It is always a question that requires an immediate answer. Let's say it was nothing, a jackal passing, you exhale. Now the sun is beginning to break over the flat horizon. Soft orange light spreads across the grass, which is tall, gold brown and stretching in every direction. Scattered acacia trees cast long, thin shadows. In the distance, a herd of something wildebeest maybe is already moving, and around you the other people are stirring. Because you are not alone. This is the single most important fact about your life here. You are part of a band. A group of between 15 and 50 people, adults, children, elders, who move together, sleep together, hunt together, and share everything. Anthropologist James Sussman, in his landmark research on modern Kalahari sand communities published in his 2017 book Affluence Without Abundance, describes these bands as the most stable, most durable social structure in human history. Not families, not nations. Bands. You know every single person here. You know their voices in the dark. You know who snores, who wakes angry, who always has something to say. These people are not your coworkers or your neighbors. They are your survival infrastructure. Someone has already restarted the fire. It never fully goes out, you cannot afford to let it. Fire is warmth, protection, and the reason you can eat cooked food, which is the reason your brain is the size it is. Harvard primatologist Richard Wrangham spent decades arguing this in his 2009 book Catching Fire. How cooking made us human. The simple act of cooking food made calories bioavailable in ways raw food never could, which freed the digestive system from doing all the heavy lifting, which let the brain grow. The fire is not a luxury. The fire is you. You are hungry, that is the next thing. In 100,000 BCE, there is no breakfast waiting, no pantry, no refrigerator, no stored surplus. What you eat today depends entirely on what today offers, and today is not promised to offer anything. The men and older boys are already organizing. Weapons check, hand axes, long wooden throwing spears, a few sharpened stone points hafted with resin and sinew. The tools found at Blombo's cave in South Africa, dating to roughly this exact period, around 75,000 to 100,000 years ago, include finely worked ochre pieces, engraved geometric patterns, and shell beads, suggesting your ancestors were not just surviving. They were thinking symbolically. They were people in the full modern sense. That is easy to forget when you are this hungry. The women and some of the men who stay behind are already scanning the ground around camp. Tubers, berries, seed pods, edible roots. Gathering is not a lesser task. Across most hunter-gatherer groups ever studied, gathered plant food accounts for between 50 and 80% of caloric intake. The hunters get the glory. The gatherers keep everyone alive. You do not know what is edible yet. You will need to watch. You will need to learn. An elder woman, gray hair pulled back, hands moving fast and sure across the root system near a termite mound, is the person who holds this knowledge. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner, in her decades of fieldwork with the Jew/Honsi Sand people documented in a 2014 paper in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, found that fireside storytelling, especially by elders, was the primary vehicle through which ecological knowledge, social rules, and behavioral norms passed from generation to generation. This woman's memory is the library. Her voice is the archive. If she dies without passing it on, that knowledge dies with her. You follow her, you watch. By mid-morning, the sun is punishing. The band has moved. You do not stay in one place for long, overuse a location and the food disappears, the water dries, and the predators begin to anticipate your patterns. Movement is built into the system. Your legs know this. Archaeological evidence from site sequencing across the Rift Valley in East Africa shows these bands followed seasonal resource patches, river systems in dry months, elevated forest margins in the rains, in patterns so consistent they left archaeological ghost trails across the landscape. You are walking. You have already walked 6 miles this morning and it is not yet noon. Your feet are hard, your calves are hard, your lungs are fine. Your body was built for this. The problem is the mind, which is still expecting a coffee break. By afternoon, the hunt returns. 2 men dragging a small antelope between them. Not a wildebeest, not a buffalo, something a group of 3 could take with coordination and luck. The mood around camp shifts immediately. There is cutting and fire and the sound of fat hitting coals. Meat is shared, not traded, not sold, shared. Withholding food from your band is not rudeness, it is an act that can get you expelled. And expulsion here is a death sentence. This is why generosity was not a moral virtue in the ancient human world. It was a survival strategy encoded so deeply it began to feel like instinct. You eat, the meat is fatty and slightly charred, and you eat it with your hands and you do not think about it. The afternoon is slower. The heat is a wall. This is when the band rests not out of laziness but out of thermodynamic intelligence. Moving in this heat costs water you cannot easily replace. In the shade of the acacia trees, people talk. Children play within sight of adults. 2 people argue briefly, then one walks away. An older man is working a stone, napping a new edge onto a hand axe, flakes of flint scattering into the grass. Someone is laughing, you hear it and it sounds completely, entirely human. Here is the thing no one tells you about ancient human life. The hardship was real, the predators were real. The infant mortality rate was devastating. Estimates suggest roughly 30 to 40% of children born in this era did not survive past age 5. Disease, injury, and bad weather were constant and unrelenting. This was not a paradise, do not mistake it for one. But it was also deeply social, deeply human. In the evenings around the fire that never goes fully dark, the band comes together. Wiesner's 2014 study found that nighttime campfire conversations among modern hunter-gatherers were radically different from daytime talk, less about logistics, more about stories. People told stories about animals and gods and past events and other people far away. They laughed, they gossiped, they speculated. This is where imagination lived. This is where your ancestors rehearsed the future, processed the past, and reminded each other who they were. Now the sky is doing something extraordinary. There is no light pollution here, no city glow bleeding up into the clouds. The Milky Way, the actual Milky Way, the full band of the galaxy is visible from edge to edge, pouring across the sky in a smear of cold white light. You have never seen it like this. No one alive today who grew up in a city has ever seen the sky your ancestors saw every single night of their lives. You are watching it and something in your chest is doing something you cannot name. Tomorrow will bring another cold dawn, another hungry morning, another question about what that sound in the dark was. You are not safe here. You are also not anxious in the way you are used to. There is no dread about something formless and distant. When the fear comes, it is real and immediate and your body knows exactly what to do with it. When it passes completely. This is what you wake up to in a world 100,000 years old. Not primitiveness, not savagery. Your people doing the work of being alive, sharing meat around a fire, watching children learn to walk, mapping the stars no one had named yet, telling stories in the dark about something they saw once somewhere far away that no one else would believe. You open your eyes. The ground is hard, cold, and covered in dry grass pressing into your back. The sky above is going pale at the edges, and somewhere not far enough away something is moving. You are already awake.